Okay. So something else that came to mind. Next time, hit your mute button before you cough.
Gives people the flavor.
I told everyone a couple weeks ago about a really cool looking Joy-Con GameCube controller.
Right, it
That
sold out when you were talking about it, but then it came back in, right?
it hasn't come back in yet, actually. But it had the Hall effect joystick implementation, which means no drift because it's magnets to activate the switches on the PCB, so you don't ever have to worry about your stick spring getting wobbly and stuff. Cool. That thing is. I can report, according to reviews that have come in, that works, and the stick is got that going for it, and that's literally the only thing decent about the controller. Everything else is coming out rough. There's video I've seen in a thread of just the state of this thing. So it was the Nyxi controller, I believe it was called, for the Switch. And the idea being, we took a Wavebird, cut it in half so that you can have a Wavebird feeling Switch Joy-Con, and you can put it in both sides of the Switch and play, and it'll be great. So you see the vertical slice of it, and you see right off the bat, you've got the Switch, which is thin, and then the controllers, which are fat, so there's a big gap protruding out the back. That seems a bit odd, but not that big a deal. The real issue comes when you put those together with the Switch Joy-Con mount?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you put the two together on, like, a controller thing. So the mount you use for this Nyxi controller, so the reviewer has footage of, like, if you grab it and you just push your knuckles together, the controller bends and flexes because it's not secured along the middle point where the two switch pieces slide together. So while you're holding your controller, you can watch it bend into U shape and bend the opposite way because it's just wobbling with a cheap piece of plastic in the middle. Crazy, right? Furthermore, because you don't have any real tech on that piece of plastic it's connecting to, each Joy-Con has separate USB charges, which means that if you want to charge the controller not docked on the Switch, you have to plug in two USB wires and then plug those into the wall for each Joy-Con separately and not together. And then it showed off how the buttons, when you press them, they actually go below the plastic of the controller.
No, that's the Ouya controller problem.
And it's like, what is happening? What is and then and it's also really light, and like the lights are there, and that's all fine, but just what's going on? And it seems it's like, well, the controller is $70, right? And I guess it's just like they got the magnetic joysticks, and that's where the money went, and everywhere else costs were shaved, and it's not sounding good. The overall cheap plastic feeling as well being, a thing. So I'm just like, oh God. The idea of what this was versus what it turns out to be is rough, because if you think of the idea of a Wavebird split in half, that sounds cool, fine, no problem, right? You get a Wavebird, or you can slide it on the side of your Switch and you can play with the GameCube style controls. Great. On this one. So, important update on that, like, not great. However, I can say that, like, that was that, like, at the very least, it's like the promise, and then what seemed to be delivered on that with the footage has horribly dissuaded me from it. Another controller I wasn't paying attention to. I saw a review, so shout outs to Hotashi, who is the one of the best Guilty Gear players, best Nago Ryuki, certainly, did a review for this thing. This is the Victrix BFG Pro, it's called. So it's a fight pad. Well, it's essentially like an Xbox Elite controller, but it comes with so many replaceable options that go beyond the Xbox Elite that it's kind of fucking amazing. and
What's the
giving
name
it
of
a
I'll look it up.
the Victrix BFG Pro. It's a controller that is
For
got
esports.
so much customization going on.
Oh, I've seen this fucking thing. This thing's
I
nuts.
can't believe it. It's nuts. So
It's
far,
nuts.
it's really good.
It's sold out is what the fuck is.
Yeah. I copped 2 of those and just I'm like, oh, if I like this could be the wave. So
Hey,
right off the
I'm looking at the website, Wooly. There's a like a pad that has like 2
I'll describe
indents
it.
on it. What the fuck is that?
I'll describe it. So the camera is unfortunately a little bit far away for me to fully get the point across, but what I have here set up, and it's all black on black. So okay, there we go. With the reflection, this should help.
Ooh.
Okay. So the way you buy this controller is it comes with a Xbox style layout, meaning D-pad up top on the left side. No, other way around. Sorry, it comes in a. Yeah, that's correct. Sorry, stick up top, D-pad on the bottom on the left.
Right.
4 buttons, and then stick on the bottom on the right. You know. So what they let you do is you can pull out those entire panels and flip them around. Okay. So if you want to have it be PlayStation style, where the sticks are both on the bottom, you just straight up reverse the input.
Are those screws or what?
They're screws. So this right here, I'm gonna hold up, is 4 buttons and a joystick attached, which I can place in any orientation I prefer on the controller. I can put it the way it was PlayStation style, or I can flip it around so that it goes in the other way, and then it comes with a screw in the case that lets you just unscrew and rescrew live as you want to configure it, whatever you want it to be.
Is that like a standard hex screw?
It is a.
Like, could I take an Allen key to this?
This is a small Allen key.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a probably second smallest size or third smallest size Allen key.
Whatever. I could go to the hardware store and
it comes with one. The one that it comes with.
Shit gets lost.
It does get lost. The way the case is laid out, it's laid out in such a way where it all nicely travels, right? So the controller goes over the top and rests inside the case, and then underneath it you have the screwdriver. You've got a top layer of like extra buttons and stick. You've got a wireless receiver, and then up top a thick fucking coiled USB wire, like a fatty. You know, the fat, like the high intensity ones that are not gonna fucking bend on you and short out. Real industrial strength fatty USB wire up there.
Is it wireless though?
It is wireless and wired, and there's a mode that you switch it between wireless and wired right on the back for whichever one you want. There's a USB receiver that comes inside the carrying case as well, and then you lift this out, and underneath it you get more options. You get all you remember the Xbox Elite D-pad options? Mm-hmm. So you get those all available here. So you get a long joystick, a short joystick, a circular, old Xbox style D-pad with the in betweens filled in, a Nintendo style cross, or a really good one, which is it is a diamond shaped, like high precision sort of D-pad, and that's what I've been using, and the diamond shape really lets you hit clean inputs for your cardinal directions. It emphasizes them in such a way where you don't ever have that problem of, oh fuck, I wanted to press back and I accidentally up backed, right? It lets you really be precise with it. And as someone who's always wanted, and I've had years of wanting the cross as the one thing, this is one of the first times I've ever felt decently about something that is not that as a D-pad playing fighting games. Yeah.
Really?
I'm absolutely.
What do you call this? The nub or the pad or what? Like,
I don't even know what to call it, but it is a diamond shaped D-pad. Is all I can describe it as. It's literally this
usually
little
those things are fucking terrible.
This is the first time I've ever had it feel like, oh, I have more precision. And when I switch back to the cross, there's a little bit of imprecision that I'm used to, but that same imprecision allows you to do things like twitch your thumb a little bit and get a Hadoken out, right?
Right.
This requires you to be a little more accurate, but it ensures you don't get fucked up inputs. Okay. I'm not even done yet.
You can turn it into a Saturn pad.
You can pull out the fucking PlayStation buttons and PlayStation right stick and just slap in 6 buttons on the face to get your Saturn pad or your fight pad out. So if you want, you just put all your fighting game buttons right there, done and done. Right? Sorted. Mind you, note about these buttons, they're clicky.
Yeah.
They're very clicky. So if you don't like clicky buttons, you're getting them. You can't avoid them. The buttons that are there by default, the PlayStation buttons, are not as clicky. They're more regular. But the fight pad buttons are bigger and clickier. It's also, if you want to fucking go Tekken fingers, big enough that I can do this. I can play with my hand in like above position Tekken finger style, you know. And this right here, that's a piano, right? I can actually play it as if I'm holding a stick, a little stick a bit. If you want to, of course, it's fine without that, but that's wild. Okay. This controller is great, obviously. Here's what else is going on with it. Every time someone says, "Hey, I'm going to start playing on a controller with a fighting game," and they go, "Oh, I'm having a hard time doing moves," or something like that, and you don't know, but you kind of find out that, like, you know, if the person is starting on a controller and they don't know that every game in the last 20 years has been about playing with the joystick to control your character. Fighting games, that's the worst idea. You should use the D-pad, right? It's just too imprecise. If you're somebody who still wants to use the joystick, it comes with fucking octo gates to put over both thumbsticks so that you can restrict the open 360.
If you're an insane person.
You can restrict the open 360 of those sticks to 8 directions, meaning you will always get up, back, forward, left, down, right. You will never get the in-betweens that fuck you up. It's got so many customization options to be exactly what you want. I would never use the fucking thumbstick for moves.
Never. But it's cool that it's there.
But if you want to, because you like the feeling of it, you can do that. And they made octo gates for you so that at the very least you always have the 8 the 8 inputs that matter, and you're never going to go in between and fuck up, you know?
People are saying that I saw somebody say that the disc is called a gubble.
A gubble?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know if that's real.
I'm going to need to figure. Yeah, we need to get proof on that or something. All right. To speed this along, you got a touchpad, you got back, you got start, you got options, right? All of those buttons, the way they're placed. So you got the touchpad, and then left, right, and underneath the touchpad is those buttons. Those buttons are, one, sturdy and hard to press in, so you probably won't accidentally press them.
By accident, yeah.
Yep, they've got a little bit of, like, you know, let's avoid triggering a pause screen or whatever. Secondly, let's say you don't trust that, no problem. Top of the controller, hit this switch, bam, you're in tournament mode. All those buttons are off. You can't accidentally pause the game. You're in tournament mode. Problem solved. Okay. So the face of the controller is sorted. You have everything you want there. But if you want to fuck around with the triggers, you got 2 normal ass RB and LBs, and then your RT and LTs are your gun triggers, as they are in all modern controllers, which are awful for fighting games, but totally, you know, fine for other things.
Good for everything else, yeah. You
hit these 2 little clickies, and suddenly, like the Xbox Elite, they're not analog anymore. They're digital. They stop shallow. They activate right away. So you can get rid of the analog triggers. right? Great. Switch at the top, PS5, PS4, PC mode. So X input. You know,
is it
you
actually
got your
X input?
When it plugs in as X input.
Oh my god, that's so much better than a PlayStation controller coming in as direct input and then needing to be translated via Steam into fucking X input with a wrapper.
I want to test it. One more time just to be sure. But when I did my first plugin, I believe it came in as an X input controller. I don't want anyone to accidentally, fucking.
And now that I want to go buy it, it's sold out everywhere.
So, I mean, I just found out about this thing, and that's where I'm at. I'm going to plug it in right now and see what happens. But that feature is fucking godlike. Okay. And then I'm plugging it in, and it's popping up. It's detected as a Victrix Pro BFG wired. But when I go to the PC settings, control panel, devices... yeah, I can get to the bottom of this real quick.
Hey, let me ask you while you're doing that, how heavy is it?
Yeah, it's Xbox controller weight.
Like a regular Xbox or like the Elite?
Elite.
Okay.
Definitely more like the Elite. Yeah, it's not coming in super light over there. Stop it with this Windows 10 shit. God damn it. Sorry. Controller, Victrix Pro BFG wired controller for PC. Okay. No, it's detecting in Device Manager as the Victrix Pro controller. It doesn't detect as just raw X input.
Well, you'd be able to tell by loading up something on the Epic Game Store or like fucking like, you know, whatever, and just seeing what buttons it defaults
in Steam.
to.
Yeah, in Steam, it was a generic PC controller.
Does it default to like Xbox buttons?
Yes. I want to
probably doing X input, which is great.
Yeah. So you got that, right? That opens up a lot of fucking doors. So you got PC mode and then PS4 and PS5 mode, right? Okay. And then while we're fucking going on about all that shit, it has one thing which, remember the Elite controllers have the buttons on the back, which I forgot what they're called, but I hate them.
Really?
I don't like them
Paddles.
because paddles, right? Because but I understand now why they exist, right? I grip the controller pretty hard, harder than the average person. Accidental inputs are a thing, but it's also a result of the genre in the sense that when I was watching, so the Hotashi review I was referring to, the best goddamn fucking player in the world at this shit, with Naga and one of the best Strive, is also getting accidental burst on these buttons when playing. Because, and here's the reason why. When you play a first-person shooter on a controller like Halo or something, the weight of your emphasis is on your triggers, right? The top of the controller.
Sticks.
And the analog sticks, right? So your thumb is resting on those sticks, and your finger is putting all the weight. And so that's where the emphasis goes, which is not in direct opposition to the paddles. But the face buttons are in direct opposition to those paddles. So when you press the face buttons firmly to do an EX move or a move that requires a tech, like 2 lights or 2 mediums, you're pressing the direct opposite of where the paddle is, and your thumb your fingers resting right over it are pushing into it. So it's not as easy to make a mistake on pressure from the top of the controller than it is to make a sandwich between the 2 medium buttons and where your paddle is, you know? So that's kind of the thing. Great. That sucks. I hate it. No problem. Press the button in the back. The rear paddles are all off. So the Xbox Elite lets you pull out the paddles entirely, which I prefer.
It also lets you turn them off. It lets you disable them through an app to just be like, don't do anything anymore.
You don't have this. You hold the button in the back and you touch each button individually, and it disables them completely.
Okay.
So not a problem. And then lastly, switch for wireless wired. This is a fucking amazing controller, dude. It's sold out, as you mentioned, and
Yeah,
it's not.
it's big sold out.
Yeah, and it's the Switch controller I was talking about was like $70 or whatever. This thing is not $70.
Oh, it's 246 plus tax Canadian.
US 179.
It's
It is
fucking,
not
it is
coming
for
in.
real.
It is for real. This is a purchase. However, it's also the cost of a stick. You know?
The cost of a high-end stick.
Yeah, it's true. The cost of like a Mad Catz TE, you know, back in the day. So you're getting essentially that level of like usability for it. It's a commitment to the purchase, certainly.
How's the battery life?
That I haven't tested because I've been wired with it.
Okay, because like the only downside that I've been looking at and seeing around is that it doesn't have any of PlayStation's fancy DualSense features, right? Doesn't have any of its special rumbles. But I'm looking right now. The DualSense Edge controller is $270. And that thing comes with 2 buttons on the back and a 4-hour battery life.
Yeah, there you go.
4 hours, man. If this thing's battery life is better than that.
All right. So according to Gaming Trends review of the Victrix Pro BFG controller, the battery is 2000 mAh, which should last up to 20 hours.
Well, okay.
Boasts a 20-hour battery life.
Do you know a guy that I can talk to just get one?
I can't. I unfortunately don't.
Did you just buy one off the store before they sold out? Is that how you got it, or like?
I watched the review and I went word, and I just immediately went to the store and got it. That's how I did it. 20 hours sounds pretty incredible. That being said, for fighting purposes, I don't want to play with wireless. I want my shit wired in at all times. Especially in a house like mine where Bluetooth noise and wireless noise is high. When I use a normal DualSense controller, I sometimes notice input lag because of the amount of bullshit in the air. I don't want that happening, so I'm wired in regardless. And the wire is, as I said, it's a sturdy fat boy doing its job. So, yeah, I'm taking a solid section of the show to let you guys know that this amazing controller exists, and it's pricey, but it does everything I wanted a pad to do. It gives you the options that whatever you feel like. Like I'm like, do I want the D-pad up where the primary like Xbox style is, or do I want it below? Or, you know, do I want PlayStation or Xbox? And it's like, well, whatever, flip it around. See whatever suits your fancy, you know? So yeah, that's the quick product review on it, and that's the shill. I am not sponsored by Victrix. I am not getting any cuts. So no, don't worry about that.
Let me ask you one last question. How fast is it to switch out the pieces? Like, if you want to swap out the Saturn pad for your regular analog shit. Oh, we're watching it live now. It's 2:28 p.m. West Coast. Okay, he's unhinged one part. He's placing the other piece in.
I dropped the screwdriver like an idiot.
Well, we're going to add that to the time. The screwdriver is on the floor. Searching. Did he find it? He did. Screwing it in. That's 1. That's 2.
Time.
So, the time didn't roll over to 2:29 yet. So even with dropping it on the floor and having to scrounge around for the screw, that's sub 1 minute.
That's
pretty good.
I swapped it in while it was on live, while the controller was plugged in.
Oh, it works? You don't have to
And
turn
it
it
worked.
off? Or?
I didn't have to plug the controller out. I switched to all 6 buttons from the PlayStation layout while the game was running.
All right.
It's a good ass
controller.
controller.
Let me ask you one last question.
Sure.
So you've used the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller ad nauseum at this point. How light is it to pull the trigger on this one? Because the Xbox one is quite heavy to pull, and the PlayStation one's very light.
It's very reminiscent of the DualSense.
Really?
It's
okay.
DualSense level resistance.
That is...
the pull. Yeah. The Xbox pull is kind of like, yeah. It's heavier if you're going to use the triggers. This feels like you're doing DualSense style. The shape of it too is in that way. They're shaped like that / DualShock 4. You know. So, yeah. There you go.
that sounds cool.
Indeed. So, let me just, I guess, wrap that up and say, yeah, I'm gonna.
Two. Can I have the other one?
If you cannot find another one, sure. I can send you.
appreciate that. I will get back to you and be like, I found one in a car boot sale.
Okay. Real talk, I have the extra one. It's boxed up. It's just a backup in case anything goes wrong. But if you literally can't find it, then yeah, you can have mine.
It's not that important. I just wanted to say that I want one.